You don't look like that. You don't look like.
Wait, you did that? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unfiltered and Off Script. It's Jason. So, today we're talking about one of those conversations where you start out completely normal, and somewhere along the way, you're sitting there thinking, wait, what did you just say? Have you ever met a woman who just looks innocent, quiet, sweet, calm, very put together? The type where you're thinking, yeah, she probably goes home, lights a candle, watches Netflix, and drinks tea. Then you actually have a real conversation with her, and she starts telling you about some of her sexual experiences. And suddenly you're like, you did that? And I want to be clear, it's not necessarily a turnoff. I'm not sitting there judging her, it's just the surprise. Because the person sitting in front of me and the stories coming out of her mouth are not matching the profile my brain created 5 minutes ago. She'll casually say, oh yeah, one time, and immediately I'm thinking, one time what? Then the story gets progressively crazier, and she's completely relaxed. Meanwhile, I'm holding my drink with both hands like I need emotional support. That's what makes conversations like that interesting, though. You realize how terrible we are at assuming we know people based on appearances. Somebody can look shy and have lived an extremely adventurous life. Somebody else can look wild and actually be home every Friday night watching documentaries. You don't know. And honestly, when somebody trusts you enough to tell you something personal without pretending to be somebody they're not, I respect that. Now, am I still going to be shocked? Absolutely. I'm human. You can't tell me some completely unexpected story and expect me to respond like, interesting, please continue. No, my face is probably going to betray me immediately. But there's a difference between being surprised and being judgmental, and I think we forget that. Adults have histories, relationships, experiments, bad decisions, great decisions, things they'd repeat, things they'd never repeat. Hopefully, we've all got at least one of those. But sometimes having those conversations is actually refreshing because nobody's pretending. And speaking of things people don't always talk about honestly, stress. Stress will sneak up on you. Work, money, relationships, family, your phone buzzing every 12 seconds, social media, responsibilities, and then somebody sends you one slightly annoying text and suddenly you're ready to throw the phone into traffic. That's usually when you realize maybe it wasn't the text. Maybe you've been stressed for 3 days. Everybody needs something that resets them. For me, music is one of those things. Music can change my entire mood. Sometimes I'll put headphones on, turn everything else off, and just disappear into a song for a while. And making music works even better. If I'm frustrated, confused, angry, whatever, I can turn that energy into lyrics. Now, instead of the stress living in my head, it's becoming something creative. That's therapy with a beat. The gym is another one. There are days when I walk into the gym irritated with everybody. 30 minutes later, I'm not mad anymore. I'm just tired. And honestly, I'll take it. You put some music in your headphones, lift something heavy, sweat for an hour, and suddenly that problem that felt enormous doesn't feel quite as serious. But your reset doesn't have to be the gym. It could be walking, cooking, gaming, reading, driving, cleaning, sitting somewhere quiet, or having a conversation with somebody who actually listens. And I mean actually listens. Not somebody waiting for you to finish talking so they can tell you how the exact same thing happened to them in 2017. Find something healthy that gives your brain permission to shut up for a minute. Because if you don't deal with stress, stress starts showing up everywhere else. You become impatient, you overthink, you snap at people, you start interpreting everything negatively. Sometimes you're not angry at the world, you're just exhausted. And maybe that's what connects everything we're talking about today. People have layers. The sweet, innocent-looking woman might casually tell you the wildest story you've heard all year. And the person smiling and joking all day might be carrying way more stress than anybody realizes. You don't really know people until you talk to them. So have better conversations, listen more, judge less, and find whatever helps you reset when life starts getting too loud. For me, music and the gym. Preferably music in the gym. Efficiency. This has been Unfiltered and Off Script. Take care of yourself, keep an open mind, and never assume the quiet one doesn't have stories. I'll catch you next time.
Everybody trust you face. This whole time your private life need a password in a safe. I thought you was shy, thought you barely got active. Turns out innocent is just convincing packaging. Girl, you don't look like that. That's what got me bad. You look like the type somebody's mama would be happy that a son brought back. You look too sweet for that, too soft to move like that. Whole time you the biggest freak I probably